My partner Nolan to give more information about him.
Hello, people. Real quick before we start, there are some rules that we're going to follow. So, first of all, you see all these Disney villains in F tier. These are the villains that we either haven't seen, or there's more of side characters or henchmen than villains, or there were two villains in one movie and we had to remove one of them. So, those are the rules we're going to follow. No Pixar, no MCU, nothing like that. Just plain Disney. Only one Disney villain per movie. And they have to be an actual villain, not just like a side character, like the monkey in the top left corner, for example. So with that in mind, let's get started. Let's delete these in F tier real quick. Delete row. Okay. Change that to F. Alright, let's get started. So first up, we have the evil queen from, I think, Snow White. And I don't know, she's kind of generic. There are a lot of evil queen type characters, so I guess right now we could just throw her and see. She has a pretty boring death. I think she just falls off and gets hit by a rock or something, if I'm correct. So nothing too special. And plus, she's not even that smart. She just gave the main character a green apple that was clearly poison, and she took it. So that's not like being a good villain. That's just going up against a really dumb princess. Would you agree, Aneesh?
Yes, I would agree. I haven't watched Snow White in a while, so I'll give that to Nolan. This is the person from Cinderella. I think she's a pretty really bad villain, considering. Sorry about my voice. Considering that all she did was capture her daughter into the locker in her room, and that I wouldn't say that's a really bad villain. So I'd put her like D or F,
Yeah.
or a little bit low C.
Maybe low C. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the villain that haunted my childhood, the other evil queen from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
This movie just flat out scared me. So, and then when this lady just goes berserk at certain points, and she just kills everyone who she doesn't like, and that's basically all she does. She's not even on screen for all that much. She's just at the very end of the movie. So I would personally put her probably D. What about you, Aneesh?
I haven't watched Alice in the Wonderland, so I'll give it to you. I'll let you go ahead.
Alrighty.
Oh wait, Captain Hook. Honestly, Captain Hook is goated.
Yeah, Captain Hook is goated. He's not that smart, but he's just awesome.
I would put him in B or A. What would you think?
How about A, because he's classic?
Yeah.
A, because he's classic. Alright. Now, probably one of the better ones, it is Maleficent. I don't know if it's Maleficent or Maleficent, but Maleficent, okay. I think this is Sleeping Beauty. Now this is probably the first example of a real Disney villain. She turns into a dragon. She's dark and scary. She has magic powers. She looks cool. She has a castle. She has a cool henchman. I think it's a crow or something. And yeah, I'd say maybe S tier, maybe high A.
Yeah, I would say high A or low S.
Alright, we'll go high A because S tier is very exclusive. There's going to be some other ones coming around, about this area. The Disney Renaissance, where you might see some S tiers.
For the movie from 101 Dalmatians, I haven't watched the movie much, so I don't know much about her. So I don't know much about Cruella, so I'll give it back to Nolan.
Yeah, so I think the fun thing about Cruella de Vil is that her name actually spells cruel devil, which is very interesting. And yeah, she's a bad villain. She wants to skin puppies for their fur. And that's bad. S tier. She has henchmen. I mean, maybe she doesn't deserve to be S tier because she's not very smart. You know what? Yeah. S tier, you gotta have it all. You have to almost succeed. You gotta be smart. You gotta be cunning. You gotta be evil. And I just don't think she's very smart. She more just relies on her meanness. So she goes high A. But she tried to kill the puppies.
I haven't watched this movie. I don't know. Oops.
Oh, no.
I haven't watched this movie, so I don't know about it. So I'm gonna give it back to Nolan again.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't watched this movie either. I probably should have thought this through. So the only thing I know about this character is that she's in The Sword in the Stone, and at the end of the movie, she has a battle with Merlin the Wizard, and she cheats. And that's literally all I know. I have no idea. I think she's Madam Mim, but other than that, we have nothing to base it on, so F. And then we have
Shere Khan. Alright, Shere Khan was a really good villain. Like, really good. I think he could be our first S tier. Would you agree?
I'd probably have to agree. No, he's a big threat to the characters. He almost kills them. And he's a tiger. And he's smart. So, S tier. Next up, we have Mr. Edgar from the Aristocats. There you are. And he's F tier. He's not even really a villain. He just doesn't want the cats to, like, take over his job, I think, which doesn't really make sense. But you gotta watch the movie for it to make sense. He's not very competent. He just tries to kill a family of cats, and he fails. So, F tier.
Alright, so I haven't watched the next 5 movies. I haven't watched too many Disney movies, but I've watched most of the new ones up till now. I haven't watched the old ones, so I'm going to give it back to Nolan.
Alrighty, for about the 5th time in a row. Yeah, these movies in the middle, like the 1970s, this was not a good. This was the dark age of Disney movies. Nobody watched them, except me. So that's why I know though. Anyway, if you can still hear me, our next villain is Prince John from Robin Hood. Prince John. He's very whiny, not very smart. Cries for mommy. D tier. Next person, look at that face. She is scary. D tier. Next person, Fox and the Hound guy. He tries to kill the fox. And it's funny because his dog is actually the fox's friend from childhood. That's the whole plot of the movie. So, I mean, he's a pretty good villain. I still think he's C tier. See, it's really hard. As you can probably tell, it's really hard to get up into this upper echelon right here. Next up, we have the Horned King. Yes, his name is the Horned King from the Black Cauldron. And basically the only thing he has going for him is that he looks absolutely terrifying. Other than that, I don't really know much about him. And he doesn't stand out. And if you don't stand out, you can't be higher than C tier. Next up, we have a villain that I actually really like, name of Ratigan, because he's a rat, from The Great Mouse Detective. This guy is smart. He's an evil mastermind. Probably the first evil mastermind in Disney history. He's like super smart. He outwits the main character. Did I mention he's really smart? And he has this whole plan that almost wins. If he didn't trip and fall off like the big tower at the end, he would have probably won, and the whole movie would be ruined. But yeah, he's good. I'd say I'm tempted to put him A, but I think mostly I just want someone in B tier, so he goes B. Next up, Mr. Sykes, the businessman from Oliver and Company, and I don't really know where to put him. He's pretty savvy and smart, and he can manipulate other people. But, like, the people he's going up against in the movie are cats and dogs, so it doesn't really count. You can't really say that he had much competition. And at the end, he gets hit by a train. So, yeah, I guess C tier. This is a very exclusive list. Finally, I can hand over the microphone.
Ursula, I think she's a really good villain. I think she actually almost attempts to kill people, and she captures people's souls, and that's really cool.
She also, real quick before we drag her into S tier, there's more you should know about her. She's really like manipulative, and she's able to get all these people to sign like these agreements that take away their voice. So she's really smart, really scary. I think she's probably an S tier villain.
Yeah, I agree. She kind of reminds me of Hades at time with the manipulative
Yeah,
stuff.
she's kind of like female Hades. But now we're getting into the renaissance of Disney films, which is where they started to get good. And you'll notice the villains started to get good. So next up, we have the poacher guy. I don't know what his name is. From Rescuers Down Under. Have you seen that movie? No, okay. Aneesh hasn't seen it. It's a pretty good movie. He's a poacher who captures all the animals in Australia. And he, is trying to capture this big giant eagle, and I guess kill it. So he's not a huge threat, or he is a pretty big threat, but he's not very smart at all. He has like one plan or one moment of like inspiration where he's kind of smart. So he doesn't get many points for being smart, but he is pretty hard to beat, and he only dies because he falls over a waterfall. So I'd say probably B tier for this dude. Nope, not Gaston. Where's the person I want? He's over here. How do you get over there? Okay. Technical difficulties. Okay, finally B tier. Now I'm gonna go hand it over to Aneesh for the.
Okay, Jafar is honestly one of my favorite villains. How cunning he is, how smart he is, except at the ending. But he was so smart turning himself into a dictator and everything. He did really well.
He has a henchman, like, what's his name? Iago, the parrot guy, who's, like, also evil. He's so cool. He has, like, a snake hypnotist.
Yeah, and Jafar actually planned out everything, and most of things went really well.
Some Disney villains are, like, twist villains, and you don't know about them from the end. But Jafar, like, you know that he's the villain. They tell you he's the villain from the first scene.
Yeah, when you just look at him, he looks like a complete
He
villain.
turns into a literal snake at the end of the movie.
He does?
He does, yeah. What he does.
Oh, yeah, giant snake. Definitely S tier.
Yeah, for all those reasons, easily F tier. I mean, the order in the tiers doesn't really matter, but let's just drag him into the front because he's clearly one of the front runners. Next up, from Beauty and the Beast, we have Gaston. He is super strong, excellent fighter. He's good socially. He basically rallies the entire village on his side to put what's her name, Belle, in prison, and then go after the Beast to capture him and kill him. So he has people on his side, which is a positive for him. He's not very smart though, but he can eat like 5 dozen eggs in one gulp. So yeah, he goes in B tier. Oh, I want to do this one. All right. So next up we have Scar from The Lion King. Let me just say, easily the best Disney villain. I'll tell you why. First of all, he's smart. He says in the movie that he knows that Mufasa is much stronger than him. And Scar got unlucky in the gene pool. So he has to rely on his wits. He hatches this whole plan to lure Mufasa into a wildebeest stampede, and then he kills Mufasa, takes over, and I'm pretty sure he's the only Disney villain who actually succeeds, actually wins, and for like 15 years he rules all of Africa, I guess, or whatever it's called, the Pride Lands. And then he only loses when Simba comes back, when he's like 20 years old. And the only reason that he came back was because his henchmen were too incompetent to kill him. So he's super smart, super vicious. He has cool henchmen, I guess. He totally kills all the animals in Africa. And yeah, S tier.
Alright, I don't know the next 2 villains, so I'm going to give it to Nolan. I'll start again from Hades.
I also haven't seen this movie from, I think it's Pocahontas. All I know is that this guy is like basically a settler, and he wants to kill the Native American people. And that's not cool, so I don't know. D tier, I guess? I've heard he's pretty bad, actually. Let's drag him into F tier.
Next one I don't know either.
Next one, Aneesh doesn't know either. I know this guy. He's in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. He's really cool. Basically, the main character is the crippled dude, and this guy kills his mother when he's a baby and then makes the guy think he's his father. but he manipulates him his whole life, and he's a bad dude. And then he wants to burn down all of Paris to like hunt down minorities and gypsies, which is kind of dark, but it's true. And he's really evil. So yeah, he's S tier as well. Where'd he go? There'd he go.
All right. I'm gonna do Hades. I just want to do Hades. Oh, Hades is literally also one of the front runners in my opinion. He literally actually goes off and kills people. He kills Meg. He manipulates Hercules so much. He literally makes Hercules lose all of his powers because Hercules was in love with one girl. He does so much bad stuff that it just makes you think he's so funny. He's just one of my favorite villains. Where would you put him?
I'd probably also agree that he's S tier. Or you know what? Let's put him A because although the one thing these people all have in common is that they're super smart. I would say Hades is smart. He planned it out for a long. If he's that manipulative. You're right. Yeah, he's not like a mastermind, but he can manipulate people to do what he wants.
Yeah.
So yeah, S tier. Now the guy from Mulan. He's a pretty straightforward villain, to be honest. He doesn't have anything that stands out about him except that he's really good at fighting, and he commands the army of the Huns, I think they're called, and he invades China. That's basically it. He dies.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was a gorilla or something.
Oh no, it's just a very scary human.
I don't know the next movie.
Oh, okay. The next movie is Tarzan. This is actually the darkest villain. He's not the darkest villain, actually, per se, but he has the darkest death. So he is the gorilla hunter. He tries to kill all the gorillas. He's not all that smart, but then when he's battling through the vines with Tarzan, he uses his machete, and he tries to slash Tarzan, but he accidentally gets tangled in the vines, and he slashes all the ropes but one, and then that's the one around his neck, and he falls 100 feet to the ground and hangs himself. And you see his shadow. It's so scary. And for that reason alone, he has to go, like, at least A tier. Just because he is so dark the way he died. Alright, that's all.
Yzma's a really good villain. She's from the movie Emperor's New Groove. Emperor's New Groove is one of the most underrated Disney movies.
I agree. It's so funny.
It's so funny. And Gronk makes me laugh so much. Yzma's pretty stupid, I would say.
Can I just add one thing? The main character, Cusco, the Emperor, is basically the actual villain of the movie. Like, he's doing awful, terrible things. He's, like, kicking people out of their homes and depriving them of food. And she's, like, you could make an argument that she's the good guy.
But the thing is, she also wants to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's just, like, replacing him. So I think she has to get some points knocked off because she's not, like, the main character is worse than her. But still.
But eventually the main character becomes better.
Obviously. Anyway.
So I put her, like, B tier.
Yeah, B tier because she's really funny.
Technical. Oh. Do you know who this is?
I know that the next guy is in Brother Bear, and he tries to kill the bear, who's actually his brother.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, I wouldn't say he's a true villain, though.
Yeah, I don't know why he's on this list. He's not actually a bad guy. He just got confused.
Yeah, so I think I'm just going to put him just right there with F. He's not really a bad guy.
Now we have Bowler Hat Guy. This movie is Meet the Robinsons. And if you haven't seen it, I'm not even going to try to explain it because it's really weird. Basically, there's time travel, and he's a person from the kid's past who holds a grudge for losing a baseball game. So then he lives for revenge and tries to get revenge on him. But his actions are mostly controlled by his robot hat. So he's not actually a very good villain himself. And he's very dumb. So I think we have to put him in, like, D tier. The only reason he's not F tier is because he's an actual threat, and he almost wins. And
no, I think I would put him a little bit higher, like low C.
low C. All right, I can make an argument for that. Now I'll hand it over to Aneesh for Bolt.
All right, Bolt. I thought that was an okay movie, not the best though, but it was pretty. I watched it like a lot of times. The villain for this movie he's not really a villain. He just wants the girl to work, but the girl is depressed over losing her dog. I would put him in probably low D. He's not really a great villain.
Now it's the villain from Tangled, which, by the way, is a really good movie. This is a good villain. So, she is very smart, convinces the Rapunzel that she's her real mother, locks her in the tower all her life, and uses her powers so that she can remain young when she's like 1,000 years old. So, and then she also just walks up to like these two strong, angry brute soldiers guys, and like just completely controls them. So she's pretty cool. She can use a knife, actually. She actually is pretty good with a knife, not gonna lie. She's a pretty good villain.
Honestly, she's kind of scary at times. Like, especially when she was about to kill, I forgot his name, Finn. When he was about to kill Finn, she's actually kind of scary. And she just cuts off everyone. She just scares you. Yeah.
You can do this one.
The villain from Wreck-It Ralph. He's an okay villain. He's not really the best. He did get everyone's trust, and he was like a bad guy. But I don't even say he was super bad. I would put him like low B or low B.
Yeah, mostly he's just a guy from a different game, and then he comes into this game and he turns into like a creepy bug dude, which is kind of, he's pretty creepy, but he's not like the best villain.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's the dude from Frozen, who, he's a twist villain, so you're supposed to think he's the bad guy, and then he's like, has this big reveal at the end of the movie, but like, everyone knew he was the bad guy. It was no secret. Let's be honest.
After watching the movie, everyone gets it. But when you watched it the first time, no one knew Hans was the villain. Everyone thought it was Elsa or something like that, but not Hans.
Whatever. I guess since we both have different opinions, we'll put
Let's wait Lobie. Is that fine?
Yeah, Lobie is fine because he is actually smart.
I would say he's actually a little bit higher though, because if you think about it, he almost killed Elsa.
I wasn't gonna say that he wasn't a good villain. I just said he was obvious. He's really smart. Like, he has the whole village on his side. Basically, like, connives his way to the top of the throne in like one night. So yeah.
Wait, actually, I'm gonna correct myself. Not Elsa. He almost killed Anna.
Yeah. And then.
Oh, I got this. Big Hero 6 villain. He's actually kind of cool. He's not afraid to kill anyone. He was about to like destroy the entire world over his daughter.
He killed the main character's brother, who was his friend.
I wouldn't say he fully killed him. The brother tried saving him and didn't know he was alive.
He left him to die.
Yeah, he didn't care.
So this is kind of a weird movie because there's like the business guy who is not actually a bad guy, but he's a real jerk. And then this guy he's like kind, but he's just so driven by revenge over his daughter, who's not actually dead, that he kills everyone in his path. So
I would say B or A.
yeah.
Oops, not C. I'd put high B.
Yep. All right, now one of the last villains from Zootopia, which is actually a really good movie, by the way. What's her name? The assistant mayor or whatever. She, another twist villain, just like in Frozen. She was I'm actually kind of impressed by her. Because this villain, I feel like, was even more shocking than Hans. Because there were a lot of different characters who you thought might be the villain, and then it's her. So, and then she's pretty smart. Has this like little poison gun thing that she uses to kill every predator or turn them all savage. She's pretty smart. Where would you rank her, Aneesh?
Ooh, I think I'd rank her probably around B, somewhere B or high C. Actually, I would say she's probably a little bit better than Hans in a way.
Me too. She's better than Hans. So maybe high B.
Yeah.
Next up, the villain from Moana.
I just want to say the villain from Moana was absolute garbage.
Yeah, she wasn't even an actual villain. She was
Yeah.
just the island in villain form.
Yeah, She was just a good guy, just turned into a villain because of the one pearl.
F tier.
Yeah.
Now, the creepy virus villain from Ralph Breaks the Internet. I did not like this villain at all, mostly because it's creepy. It's a bunch of Ralph robots that make a giant statue of Ralph. So it's like a giant Ralph made of a bunch of mini Ralphs, and they're all fighting Ralph.
I would say this is around D tier. Somewhere.
Yeah, the whole last half of the movie is just so weird. Like, the first half is really cool because they, like, go into the internet and, like, see everything. But then the last half, when the virus comes and then he turns into a big version of Ralph, is really weird. I don't like it. D tier. I don't like it.
I definitely say that he's better than most of these villains in D tier.
Okay. And the last one.
The person from
Princess.
the person from Princess and the Frog. This guy is amazing.
Yeah, he has voodoo magic.
He's actually terrifying. The first time I saw the movie, he scared me, especially with the first song he did, which was "Are You Ready?" That one.
Yeah, that one scared me. So he has everything you want in the villain. He has the villain song, just like Scar. He's got the villain vibe. He's super dark. He has dark magic. He almost succeeds. He's creepy. He's smart. He can control other people pretty easily, twist their words to get him to do what he wants. And then he has a cool death, like any villain should. He gets, like, dragged into the underworld. And then he has, like, a creepy gravestone. So he's a really good villain. I think we should top this list off with an S tier. And there we go.
Alright, that's the end of the video. Right before the video ends, we're gonna do one thing. We're gonna pick our personal favorites out of all of these villains. Starting with Nolan.
I will go first, and I will pick Scar because I think he just has the perfect blend of cunningness and strategy and intimidation that he's epic.
My favorite villain is Hades. I've watched Hercules over multiple times, and he's so funny and just really relatable at points. So he's my favorite character.
Yeah, comment who your favorite villain is.
There are no comments, remember.
Shut up.
Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day.